All right, so as we've done with lists, we're going to look at some tuple functions here as well. So the first one is the length. Now we know how to get the length of a list, and getting a length of a tuple is quite similar. So we have the same function len, where we pass the tuple and it returns us the length of the tuple. So let's go ahead and create my desk here, and that's going to be a tuple made of laptop, mouse, then paper and pen. And if you want, you can add more elements to it as well. So if I go ahead and print the length of my desk, that is going to give us 4. Okay, so we have 4 elements in the tuple. Now we cannot add or remove items, but we can actually delete the entire tuple completely. So here we are deleting the variable myDesk, and then if we try to access it afterwards, we're not going to be able to, and we're going to get an error. So let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to say del myDesk, and then if we try to print myDesk after that, we're going to get a name error. Okay, so let me just comment this out because we're going to try to call more functions on the tuple. Now we have a function count. Basically, the function count counts how many elements are in that tuple, how many elements that we provide. So here is an example. We have numbers. We could call this digits as well. A tuple made of a bunch of numbers. And then we count how many times the number 3 appears in that tuple. And for us, it is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that out. So I'm going to say, let's call this digits, might be more appropriate. And I'm just going to add some digits here until just random digits. Okay, and then if I print digits.count, let's count number 3. If I run that, I will get 4. Okay, let me just print digits.count. Let's say 5. That should give me 3. There we go. So we must have 3, 1, 2, 3 5s. All right, so that is the function count. Now, the function index returns us the index of an element. So we pass the element and we get back the index. So here we have print digits.index of, let's say, 8. And of course, this returns the first index that it finds. Okay, so for 8 is going to be index 10. We're going to have to just trust it for that. But let me get the index of 7. Okay, so I'm going to have digits.index 7. And let's go ahead and run that. I get 1. Okay, so obviously this is index 1 because a collection starts at index 0, and this is the next one, so 1. So there we go. These are the functions that I wanted to talk about: the length, the count, and the index. Now, there aren't as many functions as we have for lists, and that's because we cannot update or remove or change elements in a tuple, right? So a tuple has a fixed number of elements. They cannot be changed. We can, of course, create new tuples, but that kind of restricts the amount of functions that we can apply to tuples. So these are the ones that are most commonly used. All right, so as we know, tuples cannot be changed. But of course, there are ways to kind of get around that if we want to, for instance, add an element or remove an element to and from a tuple. Okay, so tuples cannot be changed, but we can actually create new tuples from existing tuples. Okay, and there are two main ways to do that, let's say. First of all, it's by using a subset of elements. Okay, so we take a few elements from an existing tuple to create a new one. Or it's by concatenating two tuples. So basically putting together two tuples. And let's have a couple of examples for those two types. So first of all, we have the tuple myDesk, which has laptop, mouse, paper, and pen. And we've already seen this example in the previous video. It's taking a subset of elements, so elements at index 1 and index 2 to create a new tuple. So let's put that in our code. We're going to have my desk equals laptop, mouse, paper, and pen. And then if we want new desk, we're going to have my desk index 1 until 3. So we're going to print new desk, and we're going to print the type of new desk. All right, so let's go ahead and run this code, and we're going to get a tuple that is composed of only 2 elements from that initial tuple. Okay, so we haven't modified the original tuple. We've just created a new tuple based on that original tuple. Okay, so it's kind of like updating in a way. All right, so the second way is by concatenating 2 tuples. So for instance, if we want a tuple to contain the same elements as the previous one, but include 1 or more elements, we can add 2 tuples together. So we call this concatenation. In practice, we have the plus sign. Okay, so we have my desk plus another tuple. Okay, make sure this is a tuple. If it only has 1 element, it needs a comma and a space. Okay, not necessarily the space, but the comma is important, right? Here, I'm very used to leaving a space after the comma, but you don't necessarily need to leave that space. That's not mandatory. The only thing mandatory is the comma here. So adding 2 tuples together gives us a new tuple. So we can say here new desk is going to be my desk plus a tuple that contains the element coffee. Okay, now let's go ahead and print the tuple and the type. I'm going to run that, and we get a tuple with coffee included. Notice that it is at the end, so the order is still maintained, and the output is tuple. Okay, so that is how you would create a new tuple from an existing one. Now, there is another way to create a tuple, and that is by converting it into a list. So basically, we have a function that allows us to convert a tuple into a list, update the list in the way that we want, and then convert it back into a tuple. And that is quite easy to do. So here we have my desk, the usual that we're used to. The list is using the list function to convert that tuple into a list. Then we use append to add an element to our list. Then we update we have a new tuple with the function tuple that is past the list here and creates a tuple for us. So let's go ahead and try that. So I'm going to have new, or rather my desk list is going to be a list of my desk. Okay, so I've converted my tuple into a list. Then I'm going to have my desk list.append. We're going to add maybe a phone. Okay, here we don't need a tuple, we simply have a string. We're just adding an element to the list. And then we're converting new desk is going to be a tuple of my desk list. Okay, so we're just returning that to a tuple here. And then we're just going to print new desk and the new desk type. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we can see that we have a phone and we have a class tuple. So there you go. These are the 3 ways to update a tuple, whether to remove or add elements. You can do that in one of these 3 ways. All right, so in this video, we're going to look at how we can access items from a tuple. Now, chances are you already kind of deduced how we can access them based on how we access items in our collections, in our lists. But for the sake of completeness, we're going to go through the ways to access items here as well. So obviously, we can access them by index. Since a tuple maintains the order of elements, then that means we can access elements in our tuple based on their position. So here we have an example. We have my desk, which has 4 elements in the tuple. It has laptop, mouse, paper, and pen. And if we try to access the element with index 1, which is mouse, we're going to be able to print that out like this. Remember, collections start at 0, okay? So let's go ahead and put that in code. My desk equals a tuple laptop. We have mouse. We have what else? Paper and pen. Paper and pen. And then if we try to print my desk position, index 1 rather, if we run that, we're going to get mouse. So we are able to get elements by their index. Of course, as we're used to, we can use negative index as well. So we can print, let's go ahead and print my desk -1. Okay, so index -1, that's going to give us pen. It's the first element at the last, at the end of the string, of the tuple, sorry. And then, of course, we have our usual ranges. So we can take a subset, a subtuple, if you will, from the original one. So if we print out my desk of 1 to 3, so let's say I have new desk equals my desk 1 to 3, and if we print new desk, and then I would like to also print the type of new desk. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. So we have a mouse and paper, and we have a class tuple. So we can see here already kind of a suggestion that we will discuss later on in a future video, but we can see that even though a tuple is non-modifiable, we cannot change the elements of a tuple. We can, however, create a new tuple based on that original tuple, right? So we can pick out just certain elements that we want from this tuple and create a new one. So that is not exactly the same as changing it, but it kind of achieves the same purpose in the sense that we create a tuple with a different contents, right? So here we are creating our new desk with only the elements 1 and 2, not including 3, right? So 1 and 2, or index rather, mouse and paper, and we get mouse and paper here, and it is in fact a tuple. And of course we have the range up to the end of the tuple. So if we print my desk of 1 until the end, then we can run and we can get the tuple of these 3 elements. Right, so we are creating a new tuple here as well. We're just not storing it in a variable like we did here. So that is basically the way to access elements from a tuple, is by index. All right, so let's have a look at tuples. Now, we already know that tuples are an unchangeable collection. So that is the main idea behind a tuple, is that it's a collection that you cannot change. Okay, so there are some artifices that will allow us later on to update a tuple, and we will see that in a future video. But for now, tuples are basically unchangeable. So the main idea is that you can pass them around with the confidence that they have not been changed by the functions that handle them. It is an ordered collection, so the order of the elements is maintained. The first element that goes in is it has the index 0, the next one 1, and so on. So the order is preserved, and it allows duplicates. So you can have the same element multiple times in the same tuple. Now, they are useful for grouping things together to use as a single thing. So basically, when you want to transmit some information, but you cannot put that information into a single number or a single string or anything like that, you might want to join multiple pieces of information together and pass them off as one. Okay, so that is where tuples come in. And in order to create a tuple, it's quite easy. It's very similar to collections, except instead of a straight bracket, you would have a round bracket to create your collection, right? Very similar to a list. Here we have, for instance, a variable dinner that is a tuple composed of a string called chicken, another string fries, and number 18 that might signify 18 o'clock, so 6 p.m., right? And if we print the dinner, we might get chicken, fries, and 18. So the order here, we can see that it is preserved. So let's put that in our code. So we're going to say dinner equals, we're going to create a tuple. First one is a string chicken, then we're going to have fries, and finally we're going to have 18. And if we print that, just to check that everything is working as it should, we're going to right click and run, and we're going to get the tuple here. Now, if we print the type of dinner, then we will get class tuple. Okay, so that is a tuple, which means all the attributes that come with it as well. All right, now, how do we create a tuple with a single element? We can see here the example that we gave, 3 elements in our tuple, but we can try to create a tuple with 1 element as well. So if we do this, for instance, breakfast is eggs, and we print out the type of breakfast, that's going to give us a string. Okay, so let's try that here in code as well. So we're going to have breakfast equals what we think of as a tuple, and we're going to put eggs. And if I print breakfast, and if I print the type of breakfast, okay, I'm going to run that. So we can see that print breakfast will give us eggs, and actually the type is string, it's not tuple. Okay, so that is a string that we are creating here. If we actually want a tuple to be created, we will have to put an empty element here. So we will put a comma, but nothing after that. Okay, so if we do this, okay, comma and nothing, then we run and we get a tuple. Okay, so that is a tuple with 1 element. Now, what happens if we want to create an empty element? Because we know that collections can, of course, be empty. So in order to create an empty tuple, we simply put the parentheses here. Okay, we don't put any commas, any elements, nothing. We simply put an empty tuple here. So let's go ahead and put that. Since we had breakfast and dinner, let's have lunch equals nothing. So an empty tuple. And then we're going to print lunch, which should be empty. And then we're going to print the type of lunch. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. We get a empty tuple. We still see it's a tuple because the parentheses are printed. And then we get the output of the type of that variable. So that is basically how you create tuples. They are quite simple to create, very similar to lists, but with regular brackets instead of straight brackets.